to PopCultX, a brand new season of PopCultX. My name is Daniel, along with Gabe. We're your hosts here at PopCultX, where we talk about all things pop culture from our Gen X point of view. Hey, Gabe, welcome back to the show, season 4.
Right? Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you and everyone else out there as well. Happy New Year.
Yeah. So 2024.
Sounds weird. It's like we're almost halfway through the 2020s.
Yeah, I know.
Or
I think
20, yeah.
for people of our generation, I think it just sounds insane, 2024, because we imagine we'd have like flying cars and jetpacks and like be living like the Jetsons by now.
True.
And we haven't really received all that we were promised. But
right. What a letdown by science, right?
yeah, but we're alive, so I mean, I guess we can't complain.
Although science did, I noticed this, I completely off topic of what we're talking about, but I noticed science, I say science, they released like a new zodiac monthly thing where they added 2 different signs.
Oh, really?
So scientists, always thought astrology was like a wishy-washy thing, right? Because it's not rooted in fact. But they're like, if you're going to be scientific about your signs and where the Earth is in relation when it travels through different seasons, this is what it would be like. So according to that, though, that chart, I think I have to find it somewhere again. I went from being a Taurus to now I'm an Aries.
Oh, wow.
So, which is interesting. So I don't know what that means. I don't know what they all mean, but it's like, okay. I can be the ram instead of the bull.
Yeah.
Different form of creature.
Kind of same vibe, like horns.
Yeah, exactly.
That's funny. I wonder what mine is because I hate being a Virgo, even though I'm like really a Virgo.
I'll see if I can find the list while we're here talking. Yeah, so science. I mean, science is great. One of the topics and for this year, and maybe we can get into this a little bit right now, for this upcoming season, I really look forward to having great conversations with different guests who might be outside the maybe outside the realm of what we usually have on, like actors or writers or whatnot. I know a gentleman who's really on the, I guess you could say forefront or like the vanguard of like the AI movement.
Oh, nice.
He's really adopted it and really using that to push forward stuff like AI art, AI, the metaverse, and the controversy aside from all that, maybe stealing from artists that they've used to teach, like Midjourney or Chat GPT or whatever, to teach them how to create this artwork. Controversy aside from that, it can be a really useful tool. And it's something that I'm gonna have this gentleman on probably next episode to talk about AI and how it's going to be leading us into the future and where we can see it going. I know one of the big controversies with AI right now is different models. Different companies are using AI models now to display their clothes instead of hiring traditional photographers and models to, shoot campaigns. They're now using just AI generated.
Yeah, I'd be interested in seeing examples of those because I've seen a lot of AI that, I mean, it looks like AI. It doesn't look quote real to me. So I would like to see what that looks like, and see if it's just as interesting to look at as like fashion photography or regular photography, fine art photography is to look at. So I would be really interested in seeing that. But yeah, it's really scary. My thing is like, okay, just don't steal my job. Don't be able to like create a way for you to kill humans. Like that's what I'm most concerned about when it comes to AI. Like I think that there are interesting aspects of it where they can create some really interesting things and it's kind of fun and interesting. But I would still go back to hiring an artist if I had, the need to create some sort of image, just because it has that human factor that I think might be missing from AI. Certainly, I'm sure that there are people that argue that it's that you can't tell the difference, but I would love to be able to see and compare and contrast some like AI images to images that were created by humans and see if it sort of stands up against each other.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I think one thing that I've always seen from AI images is that it doesn't look real. There's some, it's the hands with the neck or something that
Always
just
the
looks
hands.
off.
It's
And
always like six fingers or like
yeah, exactly. And the other thing is that it always seems to be missing that depth,
right.
that from an artist would give you that. I don't want to say the soul of it, but it's just like it's missing that maybe that human connection, that emotional attachment that maybe a machine maybe hasn't learned yet. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. So outside of that, like what I'm looking forward to, or what I would kind of be interested in having on our show is I don't know if you heard that Cat Williams did explosive interview with
Hmm.
I think it's like Shay or something
Yeah.
like that, where he's like just talking shit about like I mean I don't know if you would consider it talking shit, like he considers it like telling the truth or like sharing his life experiences, I guess, about Hollywood, and talked about P. Diddy or Puff Daddy, whatever his name is, talked about Steve Harvey, talked about Kevin Hart, just a tons of different people within like the hip hop industry, within comedy, within Hollywood. And basically making a lot of assertions about them, that they're like part of the Illuminati, and that they get paid to like basically sell their soul or sell out to I don't know, to make bad movies or to make movies. I don't know what the win part is for the Illuminati. Like why someone's soul is worth making like a movie. Like what is it that they gain? But I would love to have someone from the Illuminati on the show if that is
Ooh.
possible. Like please like share what is
Can
going
they
on.
announce that though, that they're part of the Illuminati? I mean,
That's the thing that's so funny is that people are like, well, of course that's part of it is that they say, they talk about it like it doesn't exist.
uh-huh.
But if an organization doesn't exist, wouldn't people say it doesn't exist? Like, so I could say the Justice League is real. Well, no one's going to admit the Justice League is real. So does that mean that it's real because we're
Because you
denying its
said so.
existence? Yeah,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
okay, well, show me some proof. Like that's what I would love to like, just because someone's successful in Hollywood and they've made a lot of money and you think that they're not talented enough or they didn't deserve it or what have you. Um, I just find it really fascinating that people are so anti-Hollywood, and then they go and watch the movies that they make. Like, what are you watching if not every single product that is pushed out of the Hollywood machine, like television movies, uh,
Hmm.
television shows, movies, like Netflix specials, like all of those things are all part of Hollywood. So like you're the consuming the thing that you supposedly are against. Like, oh, they're so evil, but this movie's really funny. Like, I don't get it. So I mean, I am sarcastically saying I would love to have someone on the show that's part of the Illuminati, but like not really. Like I would love to hear more about it to see if it's real. I'm not a conspiracy person, so like I do not think that people are selling their souls to make like to be part of Fast and the Furious. Like I think that that's silly. Ludacris was one of the big people that he outed as saying like he got paid like $200 million or something to make all these movies, and I don't know. It seems like it's kind of like sour grapes for me.
Hmm.
It's also like what a coincidence. Cat Williams is going to be doing his like North American tour like next week. So like it creates this controversy, and like it just what a coincidence. Like he's talking,
Exactly.
like
Yep.
he's the rebel. He's the one that's talking against this machine. Oh, but go see him live on comedy tour because he's the only one that speaks the truth. Like I don't know. It makes me laugh. It's funny. It's entertaining. I sat down and I watched the interview. So um,
Okay. Okay.
whether or not I believe what he espouses, I don't. If there's any doubt to that, I don't believe in what he says. Um, there may be truth to like Puff Daddy, like the allegations that he has against him. There may be truth to that, but I don't think that it's part of some Illuminati cabal. I think that there are people that just abuse their power, especially like men. Just typically we have a history of, getting into positions of power and then abusing those people
Oh yeah.
that you have power over. So that's not surprising. But I don't think it's some evil conspiracy where that like Will Smith is part of, and Oprah and Obama, and just it's crazy. It sounds crazy to me. So
The only thing I heard about takeaway from his interview was calling out like Cedric the Entertainer for stealing one of his jokes.
yeah. See,
And then
that's
people,
legit. Like that's something that you can prove. Like he
yeah,
has a
because the side by side video there and everything.
yeah.
Yeah.
So and that is fine and dandy. Like you're saying someone plagiarized your work, then you
Hmm.
have the receipts. Okay, like I'm on your side. Like that sucks. That's like not a honorable thing to do. But then to go that extra step and just be like, you know, I survived the Hollywood machine because I'm the only one that speaks the truth. I'm the only one that. Okay, sure. You're the only one that doesn't succumb to like the evils of Hollywood. But okay, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. I
I
hear
mean,
you.
if we had him on the show, like if we were to be on that level where we got Cat Williams and he sat down and was just starting, I would like be like, okay, well, like let's hear the proof. Like, don't just say like anecdotally like
Show us the
these
receipts. Yeah.
it's like let's hear out the full story. Like what happened, what night, where were you at, with who, like what happened. I want to hear the full story, not just like make an accusation and then walk away from it. Like let's hear the full story, because that's part of it is like you just sprinkle a little bit of like a story and then people's imaginations kind of go wild and take
Hmm.
off. And and then it's like, well, I didn't say that. I just said this. So I
Yeah.
want to hear the full story.
Hmm. I would love to get a eyewitness from the Miami Bayside New Year's Eve um, spectacular, I guess. Did you hear about that? What happened in Miami?
At the mall, is that what
Yes.
you okay, yeah. So I kind of briefly, but for people that don't know what happened.
So I guess there was some big police activity that happened at the mall. I guess media and police are saying it was teenagers involved in a huge fight, but then after after the fact, I guess a lot of witnesses are coming forward saying that they saw 9 foot tall aliens
Yeah.
walking around, or shapeshifters or something to that degree. And it's interesting. I mean, we saw in Vegas, was it last year, right? That the whole 9 foot tall alien in the backyard.
Yeah.
So maybe that leads to what people want to see because they're remembering that. Maybe
Yeah.
it's nothing, maybe it's something. I'd be interested to get someone who has maybe more expertise in that field of UFO activity. Maybe even like an eyewitness there who could tell us really what happened, and just exploring that realm of or side of pop culture would be kind of fun.
My thing is, you're at a mall in public. There's all these quote eyewitnesses that swear that they see these things, but
Hmm.
not one of them filmed them with their phone.
Hmm.
Literally, someone will sneeze and someone will capture it on their phone. But 9 foot, 10 foot aliens walking around
And
Miami,
no one
no
records
one
them yet.
has their phone out, no one's recording, and it's all this police conspiracy. Like that's the thing that it's like really. And the part that I heard was like they're saying, look at all the police that were there. Let's not pretend like Miami doesn't get like violent, as like there are times that I have friends that are in Miami where they like leave because there are so many people partying there that it gets super violent and there's like a lot of gunfights, a lot of
Oh wow.
fights, and they take off out of town. Like they're like everyone that lives in Miami like leaves because there's all these out like people that come to party and it's just crazy.
Mm.
So like let's not pretend like that the police aren't wary of situations that happen in Miami where a fight breaks out. Like people are saying like, oh, it's just a fight between kids and why would the police show up? Because it's Miami. That's why. Because it's like super violent and crazy there. Like it's Florida. Like it's not like it's just some regular like little town that doesn't have a heavy police force. Like it's Miami.
Right.
But my thing is just like you didn't record anything, not one person snapped a picture. Like you could go to the mall right now and you would see like half a dozen teenagers on their phone recording themselves.
Hmm.
Just in the middle of the day, you just happen to walk through, but this time there's no one filming.
Hey,
Right.
maybe the aliens mind controlled everyone and said, "Don't record us," or they
And
stop
aliens
their
come down
devices.
and they want to go to the mall. Like, what are they doing? They're
they
going to
needed
Claire's,
they
like
needed to get a New Year's Eve
Claire's.
outfit.
Yeah, like they're going to Forever 21, like buying a new outfit. Like,
They went to Foot Locker to get the latest Air Jordans.
yeah, they're the new drop of Air Jordans is so they had to come from far a galaxy far away to get the new Nikes. Yeah, that's what happened.
That's it. There you go. You solved it.
Yeah, yeah, it's funny. But
um,
so far, I mean, that's kind of like 2024 is kind of like laughable right now. Like everyone, I
yeah,
think,
yeah,
in
that's true.
like a goofy laughing mood. Everyone is sort of like laughing about certain things like memes and pop culture trends and things like that. Like so far, like knock on wood, like there isn't anything like nefarious going on that there are obviously there are wars going on in the world right now,
Yeah.
but I think people are like trying to be positive and there's still a focus on what's going on in Gaza, but um I think so far like people are trying to be chill and trying to go into this new year with like a positive mindset. And I'm right along with him. I've been trying to like watch movies that are like relaxing, that are uplifting in a way. Or I saw The Color Purple,
Oh, that's
which is
very
along like
uplifting.
that line of like upbeat like survival story. I don't know if you're familiar with.
Well, it's the musical version, right? Right.
So it's the
So
musical version of
yeah,
Alice Walker's book, which
yeah,
was previously turned into a film, which then got turned into a musical, which is now being filmed as the musical version.
yeah,
The music itself was very entertaining. It was
yeah.
really good. Fantasia Barrino can sing her ass off. She did
Hmm.
a good job as the main character of the movie, the protagonist. Taraji P. Henson is also in it. She plays Shug Avery. She does a great job. She has an amazing voice. Really, the whole cast does a really great job. I don't remember the name of the actress that plays Sophia, but she is probably going to get nominated for Best Supporting Actress for sure. She did a great job as Sophia. Really, like kind of like the breakout star of the film. Um, and just really uplifting story about someone who kind of goes through a lot of trauma in their life and like maintains their strength and then kind of comes out through the other side and is still not broken and is still able to like have a heart and be loving and have a family and
Hmm.
community even though like she got a lot of shit throughout her life. So
Yeah.
it was a really good movie. It was really interesting. I want to say that it was produced maybe by Oprah, or Oprah was involved in it, and Steven Spielberg. I think Steven Spielberg and Oprah both produced it. There was a bit of controversy when it comes to the actors and the salary that they were receiving. Taraji P. Henson was saying that she didn't get paid, what she should be, what her actual worth. And I feel like it's true. Like the studios don't pay actor, especially actresses,
Hmm.
the amount of money that they are due, that they are entitled to. So I definitely am support, of her and her camp of getting actresses more money because they definitely deserve it. That they're the talent, they're the ones that
Yeah.
really make the film what it is. So I would recommend the movie. It was really good. I know I'm not like a big musical fan, but the story itself is really kind of heartwarming,
Oh yeah.
endearing,
Yeah.
and it's a good film. So definitely like trigger warning though because there's a lot of like physical violence and you know a lot of things that are not that we won't mention on a podcast,
Hmm.
but it happened. So it's like if you're, triggered by any of those things, like, know that that happens in the movie and that that's what she's a victim of and what she's subjected to in her life.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've seen the original film
Yeah.
and I'd listened to the soundtrack of the original Broadway soundtrack of the musical. So when I was listening to it, I pictured, the parts of the film where it was taking place. So kind of I filled in the gaps in the musical
Yeah.
version. So yeah, I'm looking forward to watching it. It looks really good. And it was Danielle Brooks who played Sophia. I remember her from Peacemaker series. I thought she was good in that. So,
Yeah, I feel like she's like such on the verge of being a huge star because she's in so like she does such a good job in so many things that she's in
mhm,
that she kind of almost steals the show at
yeah,
so many times. And she definitely steals the show as Sophia in this. There's one kind of story arc in particular where her character Sophia is very outspoken and she comes across this old bitch white lady, and the white lady gets her arrested and she sort of tries to like break her spirit and gets her put in jail, and she's in jail for like 6 years or something, and she comes out and she finally something happens where she starts laughing and she's back. Like she is
mhm,
ignited by the laughter and by the circumstance that she's in, where she finds joy again and she's realizes she's not broken. Like they weren't able to break her spirit, even though they tried.
yeah,
And she does such a good job of showing that character go through that and show the emotional intensity of that. It was really great.
cool, really cool.
Any movies that you've been watching lately?
I've watched a few movies, and I made a list somewhere, but I can't find my list now. So,
Gen
uh,
X again.
exactly, Gen X strikes again. One that I did watch, or that I'm about to watch, is called The Creator. It's on Hulu now, so I'm really looking forward to that. It's by the same director who did Rogue One, Star Wars story,
Okay.
Gareth Gareth something. Um, but I'm looking forward to watching that. Oh, what else did I watch? There was another movie that I just watched that was really I enjoyed. It came out last year or 2022. Oh man, and it was the greatest beer run ever,
Hmm.
with Zac Efron and cast of so it's set during the Vietnam War, 1967, and Zac Efron plays a kind of like a slacker in a way. He's at home. He didn't really join the war effort because he was in the army previously, and I guess he got some sort of deferment. But then he sees his sister in the film um, protesting against the soldiers, and he gets really mad about that because he says that, oh, the soldiers see you guys, you know, negatively talking about them. So he decides one night in a bar on a whim, said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take beer to our soldiers over there in Vietnam.
Hmm.
The people from his neighborhood in New York City that he knows that are over there fighting. That's why it's called the greatest beer run ever. And it's based on a true story,
Oh wow.
which I thought was really interesting. It's directed and written for the screen by Peter Farrelly. So I enjoyed it. I mean, there's a lot of mixed reviews about it, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it captured um, almost so we always see anti-war films from
Mhm.
the perspective of the protesters, from the perspective of the people trying to shut down the war because it's anti-war. So it was interesting to me to see it from the perspective of someone who's supporting the soldiers,
Mhm.
but then he goes through all these moments in Vietnam to see that it's really not um, a war for America trying to save the world, like
Right.
as in World War One or World War Two, where it was respectable for that. So he has really a eye-opening experience, and he realizes that yeah, we can still support the soldiers, but maybe it's not good to support this war.
Right.
So it was really well done. I enjoyed it. Russell Crowe had a small role as a journalist, a war journalist over there in it, and it's on Apple Plus. So if you have that, go watch it. I enjoyed it. It was really
Yeah.
good. And then I would listen to later on that night, "Good Night Saigon" by Billy Joel.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, wow, the lyrics were really hitting a little more home from that song, just based upon what I just saw. So yeah, it was touching, it was moving, and it was really an anti-war film wrapped into this beer run film. So,
Yeah. Speaking of Apple Plus, a series that I watched on there recently, which I don't think it's necessarily new, but it was new to me, was the Supermodel series that talked with Cindy Crawford, Linda Evangelista, Naomi Campbell, and
mm,
who else? Who am I missing? Cindy, Naomi, Linda, and Christy Turlington.
Okay.
and there's sort of like the original four
Yeah.
like supermodels of the 90s, and it was really interesting to watch because I'm definitely a fan of theirs, like seeing the images like shot by like Stephen Meisel or Helmut Newton, and
Mm.
those are like all of the like a lot of the photographers that I sort of like worshipped and like adored
Hmm.
growing up, and they're the models that were in all of those pictures that I sort of studied and loved looking at. But it was really interesting to hear sort of like their take on like being in the industry and how they survived it and how they're still working in the industry or if they've kind of bowed out of being in the limelight. And it was really interesting. It was kind of fun to see the model kind of speak for themselves and hear their side of the story. So sort of like behind the lens
Yeah.
of those that are in front of the camera all the time. So that's a really fun series. I recommend it for anyone that's like a fan of like 90s supermodels and 90s fashion and photography of that era. It definitely is a fun kind of visit to those people who were at the top of the pile back then and still are. I mean, Naomi Campbell's still like working in fashion and still being photographed and working with the top fashion houses. So
Yeah. Very cool. I have to give that a watch. I haven't seen it, so I'll go look for that.
yeah, it's pretty interesting. It's cool. I liked it. Something else that was a little less maybe fun, but maybe more controversial was a movie called Saltburn
Mm.
that I saw. Very a lot of people are talking about it. Let's put it that way, right? It's
Yeah.
a very spicy movie. I don't know how to really call it. Like it just there's a lot that happened. It's one of those movies that is got like little twists and turns. The initial setup of the film is about I can't say his name properly, Barry Keoghan or
Yeah, Kyogen. Yeah.
Keoghan. He plays this sort of like nerdy guy that's going to I believe Oxford and has no friends, and then he sort of befriends Jacob Elordi, who's sort of like the cool guy on campus, and gets invited to their estate, Saltburn. The character, Jacob Elordi's character, is this super rich, uh, you know, person who comes from this family that has this huge, massive estate. And then it's sort of the story of how this nerd kind of becomes part of this family or part of the scene and it unravels from there. I don't want to ruin it for anyone that hasn't seen the film. But the acting is really good. They've got Rosamund Pike is in it. She plays the mom in the family in the Saltburn family. That's not the name of the family. They're the Cattins, I believe. But Archie, I can't say his name, Maddox, he's in it. He was in Gran Turismo.
Oh yeah.
He was
Great
really
film.
good
Yeah.
at this. He plays a friend of Jacob Elordi's character, and he's sort of like this rich, kind of smarmy bully who wants to destroy the nerdy guy. And he plays the character really well. He plays an American. He's an English actor, but he plays an American character. And it's just this like intersection of like these people who all have different motivations and come from the wealthy and the elite, and then this kid who is not part of the elite, who is a nerd, who doesn't have a lot of friends, and how their worlds kind of collide.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting. I don't know if it's for everyone. There are certain scenes that are kind of uh, over the top, if you want to define it that way. But there are some scenes that like people are talking about that are like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened. Like this scene's crazy. And the way it was filmed, it's not as bad as people make it out to be.
Okay.
Or
Okay.
maybe I'm like a little more jaded, or I don't know, I'm desensitized to things, but it wasn't as crazy as like it's definitely salacious and it's meant to be like provocative, but it's not as like crazy as it sounds or as it's described. Let me put it that way. There's another scene that I think that is like way worse, but no one's really talking about that. But I guess I don't know. Some people are more shocked by some things than others. But the acting is really good. I hear that Rosamund Pike is probably going to get nominated for an Academy Award. She sort of plays this like I don't know if you would say cold-hearted, but just like a very wealthy elite woman whose world is very insulated and kind of takes people into her family circle as like sort of as pets and then kind of discards of them as they
Pets.
yeah. And I mean it definitely I think there's a lot of reality to the situation. I think we see I've seen in high school people of different wealth levels
Hmm.
and how some people can kind of ingratiate themselves into a scene with wealthier people or vice versa.
Yeah.
The wealthier person will like fall in love with someone that doesn't have money and how their worlds collide. And so that's kind of what this is in a roundabout way. But it definitely has a dark twist to it, so it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I've heard what you've the scenes that you've mentioned, and I've heard talks about them, but I haven't seen the film.
Yeah.
I always, when I think about the film, I get the vibe of like almost like Midsommar, and how
Yeah.
if it's strangeness, and it's scenes that are very provocative or very like, did that just happen? So
Yeah.
I want to watch it, and I will get to it. It's soon.
I think the actor was in Midsummer. Um, the English actor that plays uh, Archie, Matt,
Oh, was
I
he?
can't his Madekwe, he was in Midsummer too. So
Oh yeah, he was. You're
funny
right.
that you
Yeah.
mentioned that. So it definitely has some of those vibes. Like it's like a really smart horror movie or suspense thriller, I guess if you want to call it that. But definitely really good acting, very good acting.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll give it a watch. I might have to wait till after I watch the upcoming series that I'm really super excited about, and that is the new Echo series that comes out. I think this week on
Oh
Disney Plus. It's a 5 episode miniseries, so I'm really, really just super excited to see Echo really get to be the central character,
yeah,
and not just a side character, a side quest in like the Hawkeye series is
yeah.
where we first were introduced to her in the MCU. So it's really exciting to me. I've been a fan of that character since probably just before the Hawkeye series, and I really learned more about where she came from, how she's a Native American, and everything like that. So it's really interesting. Of course, the character was created by the writer artist David Mack, and it's really cool to see how they're using a lot of his artistic stylings in the promotional pieces for the series.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much more into the series his stuff will contribute, but that's exciting. And of course, in the trailer for the series, we see Daredevil in there. So I'm really curious to see how he is used in this series, because in the comic book run, they meet, and of course, they're at first they're Echo and Daredevil are adversaries, but
Yeah.
Maya Lopez and Matt Murdock are very close and share a deep connection because of like, I guess, their shared disabilities, and so they form a very tight connection. Of course, they don't know at first that they're adversaries in their superhero realms.
So I forget, is Echo hearing impaired?
Yes,
Okay.
she's
And
hearing
then
impaired.
Daredevil is
He's blind,
obviously.
of course,
Mhm.
blind to him. Yeah. So I'm curious to see how they play that out. I know it's supposedly going to be the one of the most violent MCU offerings to date.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because Kingpin is in it, and Vincent D'Onofrio just plays that character so brilliantly. So I'm super excited to see where that goes, and of course how that's going to lead into the Daredevil series in the MCU when he
Yeah.
finally gets that launch. So super excited for that coming out this week. I'm really looking forward to that.
Nice. Yeah. So am I. Like to have an indigenous, superhero or super person on the screen is pretty cool. So I can't wait to watch it as well.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of superhero indigenous people, the one of the episodes of Marvel What If season 2
Mhm.
was based all around that, and the oh goodness, I need to look it up now who it was, but it was I'm not sure if you've seen that or not. The What If series.
I haven't watched it yet, but saying
It's
that there's an indigenous character makes me want to watch it.
yeah, season two. One of the episodes. What's her name? It's like Co. Starts with a K. Goodness. Anywho, go watch it. The episode's really cool. And she's one of the central heroes of the whole series. And once she gets introduced, we realize
Oh,
that she's very powerful and she's one of the central um, superheroes of the series. One of the episodes that's really fun is Happy Hogan Saves Christmas. So it's
uh,
like their Christmas offering, but it's really based around almost like Die Hard.
oh wow.
So it's really fun play on that. And so yeah, it's a really good series. I really enjoy it.
Is so the story it goes through all of the episodes versus like individual.
Well, they are individual tellings, a lot of them, right? But then as the story gets weaving together, as the episodes start building, we see that okay, the Watcher, of course, performed brilliantly by Jeffrey Wright. Excuse me. We see that there are connections between them, and we see that they start to get even more intertwined as it gets towards the end of the season. So, and which is how they did it in the first season as well. So it was really cool. And yeah, it's by the end of the season, we see how it all comes together and who's pulling all the strings for it.
Hmm. Definitely, we'll have to check it out.
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, there's I think it's really cool because they use a lot of the MCU voices. So Haley Atwell, Sam Jackson, Benedict Cumberbatch, Sebastian Stan, Chris Hemsworth, they're all in there playing their characters again. Of course, it's
Okay.
animated, but
Yeah.
it's really cool. And then, of course, they have additional voices for like Tony Stark, Steve Rogers, and whatnot,
Yeah.
who haven't, the main actors, of course, their contract expired. So they got additional voiceover actors.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Cool.
give it a watch.
Yeah, I definitely will.
Yeah, I think I'm really one of the last things I'm really excited for this season four of Pop Cult X, and that I really hope we get to do more of is be a little more interactive with all of you fans out there,
Yeah.
or supporters and watchers, viewers of this, because we want it to be a more communal community, just more of a interactive back and forth with everyone.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping to for us to get more comments, anything that maybe strikes your fancy of something we said, maybe a topic you'd like us to address. Leave it in the comment field, send us an email, find us on social medias. Yeah, I'm really hoping that we can do that more this season.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
So, anything else that you did this past since our last episode?
No, I last night was the premiere of the new season of RuPaul's Drag Race, which
Oh,
I'm assuming you don't watch, but
I haven't watched. I know of it though.
yeah.
But yeah,
Well, it's become quite the like pop culture phenomenon,
yeah,
which is interesting because of the political climate right now. We see that there's people that are like anti drag queen, which is really weird to me.
mm-hmm,
Like
mm-hmm,
and but then you see at the same time like this huge popularity with with a lot of people with drag queens and the show Drag Race. So it's kind of weird that there's such a the opposition between support and opposition. But I'm more in the support, and it's just a really fun show. Charlize Theron was the guest, or Theron. Charlize Theron was the guest judge for this first episode. She looked amazing, and it's just really interesting to see, what people can do with makeup and wardrobe and dance and kind of jump up in the air and to land into splits and do really crazy, kind of to me, it kind of harkens back to like a vaudeville type
yeah,
time,
definitely.
like
Hmm.
people like danced and acted and sang and were like multi-talented and like really just had their body to rely on. Like there weren't a lot of special effects. It was just like, let me go up and like dance and entertain you and
Yep.
sing and do a bunch of different things. So I definitely, it's on MTV now. I would recommend it to people that are kind of looking for a laugh. It's a really funny show. It's been on for quite some time now, but the new season just started. So I'm watching it, and it can be a political move to get some ratings up for them and show people that uh, we're not scared of drag queens, of guys dressed or people dressed in wigs and makeup. Like I think it's such a weird thing to even say that, but that they're not out doing crazy things. It's other people.
Exactly.
So so yeah, so I'm in support of it, and I just watch it just because it's a fun show. So that was last night that I watched. But other than that, I haven't been up to much other than collecting comic books and watching TV and movies. So
Very cool.
yeah.
What was the last comic book you purchased?
Um God, I have a pile here. Uh let me see.
I just picked up. I went to the store yesterday. Finally, I was feeling well enough to go there, and I picked up. I forgot in my pull box was the Pyroclast
Oh,
from.
nice. I haven't seen that out.
Yeah, I had it in my pull box, so I'm looking forward to reading it. Of course, by Professor Latinx.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's looks really cool. The artwork looks really great. So hopefully, it'll be a good read as well.
Yeah, I'm jealous. I haven't seen that out in the wild at the comic book store that I go to. There, the one that I've been going to recently is called Nuclear Comics in North Park, and they had a great sale. They were 99 cents for any back issues.
Oh wow!
So I picked up a lot of back issues. I picked up the new Avengers run. So that's the most recent thing that I bought. It was like issue 1 through like 8.
Oh
Um,
cool. Okay, yeah.
and the reason why I was really into getting it is because one of the stories is has an indigenous, or actually, I believe she's Mexican, superhero in the Avengers, and she's on
Oh
uh,
cool. Okay.
cover for one of the issues, and so that kind of got my attention. And then I was like, oh well, I might as well get the whole, run so far since it's 99 cents. So, so yeah, so that was the most recent one that I got.
Very cool. I think I have some of those Avengers. I have to look them up. Haven't read them yet. They're somewhere in my boxes.
Yeah, I definitely have comic books everywhere that I have to get to and have to read, but so little time, so many books.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true. But we'll get to it. We have a whole season of stuff. So everyone out there, if you're new here to Pop Cult X, thanks for dropping by. Be sure to like us. Be sure to follow us, subscribe, whatever you want to call it. Leave us a comment. What was the last comic book you purchased? I
Yeah.
want to know. But yeah, that's all I have for this week, Gabe. Unless you have anything else.
Nope.
All right. Well, take care, everyone. We'll see you all in a couple weeks. We're going now twice a month instead of weekly. So take care, everyone, and we'll see you next time.